Welcome back to Daily Decode, your go-to spot for peeling back the curtain on the biggest names and boldest moments in politics, law, and everything in between. If it's trending, explosive, and guaranteed to rattle the halls of power, you'll find it decoded right here. Get ready to buckle in because today's story is one for the history books. What started as a bold attempt to embarrass a rising star in Congress turned into a jaw-dropping masterclass in legal brilliance that left a courtroom legend completely stunned. Now picture this. Judge Judy, the queen of courtroom sass, known across the nation for her no-nonsense attitude, sharp tongue, and quick judgments, suddenly finds herself face-to-face with someone she thought she could outmatch. Enter Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, a name you've probably heard a lot lately. She's been lighting up news feeds, social media, and House hearings with her fierce intellect, unshakable presence, and unapologetic style. But today's story takes her beyond Capitol Hill and straight into an arena she knows all too well, the law. It all began during a nationally televised special segment, a sort of celebrity courtroom face-off with a twist. Judge Judy was hosting a political edition of her hit courtroom-style show. The idea was to test the legal minds of political figures, grill them, and see how they hold up under the legendary scrutiny that made Judge Judy a cultural icon. For this episode, the producers thought it'd be clever to pit Representative Jasmine Crockett against a panel of aggressive questioning, a setup where the audience fully expected Judy to dominate and dazzle. But no one, and I mean no one, was ready for what happened next. The episode starts innocently enough. Judge Judy lays out a legal case, a fictional scenario drawn from constitutional law with hints of real-world political implications. The goal: see how lawmakers would handle complex legal principles under pressure. Judy immediately turns to Crockett with a tone that's more patronizing than playful. "So, Congresswoman Crockett," Judy says with that familiar smirk, "explain to us your understanding of the Commerce Clause and how it might apply in this made-up case, assuming Congress oversteps into state authority. Try to keep it simple." For our viewers, the jab was clear, condescending, sharp, and intentional. It was the kind of tone Judy had used for years to slice through courtroom arrogance. But Jasmine didn't flinch. She smiled, paused, and in that signature Couliet tone said, "Judge, I'd be happy to, but I'll keep it simple for the folks at home. Not because I don't know the doctrine, but because law should be accessible to everyone, not just lawyers." Right there she flipped the power dynamic. But it didn't stop there. Crockett launched into a breakdown of the Commerce Clause that was so thorough, so precise, and so digestible that even legal commentators watching the show live began tweeting about it. She referenced the landmark case Wickard v. Filburn and how its interpretation expanded federal power, contrasted it with United States v. Lopez, and then applied both to the hypothetical case with a clarity that left Judge Judy visibly stunned. The moment went viral almost instantly, but Judge Judy wasn't ready to hand over the reins just yet. You could see the gears turning. She interrupts Crockett mid-sentence, pushing back with a sly grin. "Congresswoman, I don't think you're understanding the nuance here. You're citing Lopez, but didn't the court also say that guns in schools were not economic activity? Isn't your analogy stretching things?" And here's where Jasmine absolutely shut it down. "Actually, Judge," she replied without skipping a beat, "that's precisely why I chose that case. The court said that not every activity falls under the umbrella of commerce, which is why the decision rolled back congressional power. But in this fictional case, the action is directly tied to economic impact, unlike the Gun-Free School Zones Act. So, in this instance, the analogy holds, and if we're being consistent with precedent, we'd see the federal action as valid." Cue silence. Judge Judy blinked, then blinked again. For the first time in what felt like forever, the queen of snappy comebacks had no rebuttal. And the audience, they erupted. Twitter exploded with clips of Jasmine's breakdown. Legal professors began analyzing the moment. One even posted, "Crockett just outjudged Judge Judy. That's not something you see every day." But let's rewind for a moment. Why was Jasmine Crockett even in that seat? It wasn't random. This was a setup, pure and simple. The producers, possibly underestimating Crockett's background as a civil rights attorney and public defender, thought she'd make for good TV, a fiery politician facing off against a seasoned TV judge. They didn't anticipate that she'd walk in with decades of courtroom knowledge and legal mastery under her belt. Before she was in Congress, Crockett spent years fighting in real courtrooms, not reality TV. Actual trials, real clients, high-stakes civil rights cases. She was used to pressure. She was used to power plays. And unlike many who enter the halls of politics, Jasmine came equipped with a sharp legal mind forged in real battle. That's what Judge Judy didn't see coming. But what made the moment even more powerful wasn't just her knowledge, it was her composure. At no point did she get flustered. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't stoop to insults. She simply let the facts speak, let the logic flow, and in doing so, she turned the entire spectacle into a teachable moment, not just for the audience, but for Judge Judy herself. After the commercial break, there was a noticeable shift. Judy's tone softened, her smirk faded, and when she addressed Crockett again, there was something that sounded almost like respect in her voice. "Well, Congresswoman," she said, "it's clear you've spent some time in real courtrooms. I can see now why your colleagues speak so highly of your legal mind." Crockett smiled again, but this time with a subtle nod, as if to say, "I told you so." The rest of the episode was smooth sailing. Judy asked questions. Crockett answered them with ease. By the end, Judy even joked, "If I ever get tired of doing this show, I might just pass you the gavel." Of course, the moment didn't stay confined to the airwaves. Within hours, major news outlets were picking it up. CNN ran a headline, "Crockett stuns Judge Judy with legal precision." MSNBC called it the clapback heard around the courtroom. Even Fox News, usually critical of progressive politicians, admitted grudgingly that Crockett had demonstrated impressive legal knowledge. But beyond the viral headlines and cable chatter, something more important happened. Jasmine Crockett reminded the country and the world that brilliance can't be underestimated, that women of color in power aren't just figureheads or talking points. They are educated, they are experienced, and when you try to belittle them, they might just outsmart you in front of millions. This wasn't just a TV moment, it was a cultural shift, a reset on expectations. Young law students across the country started citing Jasmine's appearance as an example of how to maintain composure under pressure. One viral TikTok even edited together Crockett's best moments with a caption that read, "How to win a courtroom without raising your voice." And as for Judge Judy, well, credit where it's due. After the episode aired, she did something very few people in power are willing to do. She admitted she underestimated her guest. In a follow-up interview, she said, "Jasmine Crockett is the real deal. I've seen a lot of lawyers in my time, but she has a way of blending intellect with grace. That's rare. I was impressed." Now here's the takeaway for everyone watching. Power isn't just about who has the mic, it's about who knows how to use it. Judge Judy might be the reigning queen of courtroom drama, but Jasmine Crockett reminded the world that real legal power isn't about theatrics, it's about facts, law, and confidence. So the next time someone tries to put you on the spot, remember what Jasmine did. Stay calm, stay informed, and let your brilliance do the talking. Thanks for watching Daily Decode, where we shine a light on the stories that matter and the people who won't be silenced. If you found this episode as jaw-dropping as we did, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Jasmine Crockett be hosting her own legal show next? Would you watch a weekly breakdown of real laws by real lawmakers? Let us know. Until next time, stay bold, stay smart, and never underestimate the power of a sharp mind in a high moment.